everyone. Welcome back to another podcast episode. My name is Alicia Gogan, the host of the Glow Up Secrets podcast, where I help you expand your mind and become more self-aware so that you can glow up into the best version of yourself. Guys, I am finally recording my episodes. It's so weird because I'm looking at the camera, but I'm holding my mic and I'm making sure that I'm recording. This is new for me, but we are here. We have done it. Okay. We need to talk about the fact that my braids are out if you are watching on YouTube. And if you're not, then now you know. My braids are out and we're back with the ponytail, slick back ponytail. And I'm also wearing my favorite shirt again because I got this for vacation and I literally love it. And I haven't worn it with my hair in a slick back. So we're doing that. Honestly, guys, I need to figure out a new hairstyle though, because I rock this ponytail, which I love. I got this ponytail from Luxie Hair, by the way. It's like a real hair ponytail. It's like $300, but listen, I have spent a lot of money on fake hair before, either wigs or ponytails. And when I want a slick back ponytail, when I want anything that's fake in my hair, if like I'm not like having my hair natural, then I want to make sure it's good quality and it looks good. Over are the days of wearing wigs that just do not look good. I was even thinking about this last night. Like, I used to always tell myself I was into wigs like a few years ago, and then I just realized like I never got the wigs that you would like install, like you get somebody to professionally install, like you'd braid your hair back and you like glue it on. It was kind of like I learned how to do wigs. It looked pretty good. Like for when I was going out, and then I'd be able to like take it off at the end of the night. Like I never really had one of those where I was keeping it on my head. But I used to always tell myself, you know what? You know those girlies, the natural hair girlies on YouTube and the ones who do the wigs, like all that? They're so freaking talented, by the way. But I was like, you know what? Once I get the money to be able to spend on my hair, like then I'm going to go all out. So right now I'm just kind of like not spending money on fake hair, wigs, or changing my hair too much. I really love to do it, but it's just like I want my hair to look really, really good. And that does require a lot of money. And sometimes it requires you going to a hairstylist so they actually install it correctly. Like, I think some of those female rappers who have their hair so nice, like the wigs and stuff, they spend so much money on those wigs. Like thousands of dollars on the wigs, thousands of dollars to get them installed. And I'm here for it, but we're just going to save up a little bit of money. So anyways, I digress. The hair is back and I am back, and I'm very glad to be recording this podcast episode. Today, we are going to be talking a lot about the relationship that we have to ourselves, self-love, finding our purpose in life. You guys had so many good questions. This episode is really relating to ourselves as women, even men. I know some men watch my YouTube channel, podcasts, all that good stuff, but we're going to get very vulnerable and personal and into the energy of loving ourselves. But first, we need to talk about what I'm into and what I'm not into. Actually, you know what? Today's not really about what I'm into. It's more so, what is it? Hold on. Gotta pull up the Notion. I'm a Notion girly now. I think my friend Tess really just like, she influenced me big with the Notion and like Notion templates and stuff. We love it. Okay, yeah. So actually, we're going to do the quote of the day. I don't know. I'm a mess, guys. Okay. The quote of the day is from the holistic psychologist, which I actually did the quote of the day last week from her as well. She's the best. She's the best of the best. And if you're not following her on Instagram, then you need to. She is the author of How to Do the Work. Her name is Nicole LePera. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but whatever. All right. Let's see what the quote is. Hold on. Come on, girl. I thought I loaded this before. Clearly not. Okay. So wait, no, that's not it. Hold on. Okay, got it. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to start reading it. So it's a carousel post as well. So there's going to be a lot of different like slides. So the post says, as a golden child, I learned to suppress my own needs to achieve and to be as easy as possible in order to be loved. Here's some signs you were the golden child. The golden child is a child who becomes highly self-reliant and almost appears to raise themselves. Sometimes the golden child is mature for their age. Having a chronically ill parent, I guess this is for her experience, she had a chronically ill parent, meant I was often my own parent emotionally, and I placed a lot of pressure on myself. This led to anxiety and extreme shyness. By 10, I started having nightmares about people breaking in or my parents dying overnight. It wasn't something I talked about. I kept it to myself. I never wanted to burden anyone with how I felt and never felt comfortable asking for help. Externally, I looked like I had it all together, but internally, like the golden child often does, I suffered in silence. As an adult, I didn't have a true sense of self. My sense of self came through accomplishments and external validation. I feared making mistakes or letting anyone see my flaws. I had no boundaries and often betrayed myself in relationships. Oh, that was it for that. I think of recovering from being a golden child as recovering our authentic self, allowing our entire humanity to be seen without playing a role, and not beating ourselves up or needing to grip to perfectionism or control to feel safe. I have never related to a post more in my life, and I'm only assuming many of you guys in some way, shape, or form can relate as well as being that golden child. I think that my audience, we are chronic self-improvers, we're perfectionists, we are wanting to glow up into the best version of ourselves. And usually the type of people who are into self-development, we are the people that have had to be mature from a very young age. Like for me personally, my life experience has created, like I had to be responsible at quite a young age. My dad passed away when I was 16. My mom went through her own addictions and things like that of that nature. And I really had no other option but to take responsibility and learn. And I think that's a normal thing no matter what, even if you don't have parents who were chronically ill or went through addictions or you lost your parents, whatever. But for whatever reason, you have had to take on a lot of things. Or maybe you just came from a not so, like, let's say you didn't come from a lot of money, right? Maybe you had your parents and your parents were doing the best you can, but you had to grow up. And with becoming so mature at a young age, you become so good and you suppress a lot of yourself, and society puts on all of these, the pressure to be a certain way and for you to succeed in life. And when you do that, you kind of, you put on a mask of who truly you are, and maybe you don't let yourself be a child anymore and play and have fun. And then you learn how to, like, you just don't really know how to connect with people. And that's just been my life journey. And I think as being 27 now and gone through this glow up journey and self-improving and all these things that I've learned that I teach and talk about on my channel, I'm starting to realize that being a golden child is no longer really serving me anymore. And I don't need to be a golden child anymore. Like, in a lot of ways, this has protected me and becoming responsible and being good and being the chosen one. Like, obviously there's benefits of being this way, and to never throw that part of you away, but to realize that sometimes it takes away from you being your authentic self, which affects the way that you show up in relationships, friendships, living life. When you're a perfectionist and you're a chronic self-improver, it's really hard for you to be connecting with people because you're so just focused on improving and being responsible. You don't really have time to connect and time to play and let yourself live. And being 27 now and going through this realization, I think the next chapter of my life and the thing that I need to experience now is living life, is not having to be perfect, not having to be this mature, responsible person, although of course I always will, and I am, because that's like ingrained in me now. But to learn how to live life and express myself and to be authentically me, like what does it look like to be authentically me? I haven't been that in so many ways in my life, in relationships, friendships. There's so many walls and borders that I've had to put up for good cause, for good reason, but no longer kind of serve me now because I can see how that's affecting the way that I show up or not show up in life. And I guess this is just a message for you if you're in the same era, which you probably are, to let yourself be yourself. Let yourself live a little. All right, so let's talk about what I have been struggling with. Usually I talk about what I'm loving, what I'm hating, but I want to talk about and be real here. And talk about what I've been struggling with. And I've been struggling with consistency and showing up for myself. And I think part of that reason is this part of me that is the golden child that puts so much on my plate. And sometimes when you put so much on your plate and you shoot for these super high expectations of yourself, sometimes you become so overwhelmed where you get in this nervous system state response of freeze. There's I'm not going to get too much into it, a nervous system state of fight or flight where you're constantly working, overproducing, whatever. But sometimes you get to a point where you're so overwhelmed that you freeze and you procrastinate, really, because there's just so much, or you're just thinking that the way that you need to produce something or work on something needs to be this perfect thing, and then you end up getting in your own way and sabotaging and not doing these things. And I've just been realizing there are so many things that I want to achieve, and I am achieving them, and I'm working towards them this year already. And I'm learning how to I have to learn how to honor myself and not be that golden child, but also to realize I actually do need to be consistent, and I need to take a good look at the ways in which I'm not showing up for myself if I want to achieve the things that I say that I want. Right now I'm writing a book. I'm just in the beginning process of writing a book, and that's a whole thing in itself. It's not just making a YouTube video. It's a huge project, and I'm wanting to move, which I am going to be moving in April. Guys, I cannot wait. I literally cannot wait. There's things that I want to do to evolve my channel. There's just a lot of things going on in my life, personal life. There's a lot of things I want to get done. And I was realizing the habits and the things that I'm doing currently right now in my life are not going to get me to where I say that I want to be with writing a book, with taking care of my health, with having the relationships that I want with friends and, men, and just doing all of these things. I want to do all of these things, but I'm not able to really get them the way that I want to because I'm not showing up. I'm not being consistent. And I've changed the relationship that I've had with consistency in my life and not being such a chronic perfectionist self-improver, but I really have been struggling with being consistent. I do think a lot of that is because I put a lot of pressure on myself, but I've learned in the past week, I was you know what, I need to stop putting so much pressure on myself. And I really need to hone in into what it is that I want to achieve in my life. And I need to show up for myself. I have to show up for myself. I have to show up in a different way than I used to, which is I don't need to be perfect with everything. I don't need to be consistent to a T, same time, every single day, same amount of work, same amount of energy, everything. But I need to show up for myself. How is it that I'm going to get all the things that I want in my life if I'm slacking on things, if I'm wasting my time, if I'm doing all of these things? So, you know what? I did create a script for a YouTube video in which I'm going to talk about just kind of getting your life together and really showing up for yourself if you want to get the things that you want in your life, because it does require action and it does require you just really taking aligned action, if anything. So that video is going to come, but that's something I've been struggling with, but I'm slowly getting back into it. And oh my gosh, I feel so much better about myself when I just do some small little things that I say, or I told myself that I was going to do, or told myself that I need to do, and I actually do them. And it feels so good to just do that. And that really does lead into what I've been doing to love myself more. And it is showing up for myself. It is doing these tiny things that usually I'll tell myself, no, I can just do it tomorrow, or no, I don't really feel like going to the gym right now. I'm just gonna like keep pushing it off, keep pushing it off. And it's like, no, like you need to get out of your bed and stop getting in your own head and just go and do the thing. And you're doing this thing for yourself because the feeling that you feel after you do the thing you said you needed to do is unmatched. And you're showing your inner child, you're showing your parts that you are showing up and you're there and let's do this. And that's a form of self love. Consistency, a little bit of discipline, structure, whatever you want to call it, is self love. So that's what I've been dealing with, but I am doing so great. And you know what I was thinking? Like, I'm looking outside to the view that is behind this camera right now. And it's once again another gloomy day in Toronto, Canada, as it's been for the past a million years. But low key, I like it. Like today is like an overcast day. You know those days where it's like really, it's like dark, but it's rainy and it's like quiet on the streets. I don't know why. Something to do, like I have this memory of like back when I was little, when I remember this distinct memory. I don't know why we're going here. Don't worry, we're going to get into the questions, but you guys know I like to rant, okay? I remember when I went on this school trip and we were going to the Toronto Zoo and it was like a morning trip, right? So you get to school early. It's not a school day. So it's so fun. It's just so exciting because it's like you're going on this bus, you're going somewhere where you've never been to this place, and it's just going to be such a great day. And I remember like the streets being so quiet. We got to the school when it like nobody was there yet. We were leaving way earlier than like when the bell rang and people were actually at school. And it was a very like gloomy, like dark, still, quiet morning, but it was warm. Like, you know, those rainy days or rainy mornings when it's done raining and it's like kind of wet and it's like still, I don't even know how to really explain that, but, and it was really warm and no people on the street. I don't know why that makes me feel so calm. And I don't know, maybe it's just something about feeling like everything has stopped and like I can relax and just take a moment and breathe. There's no commotion, there's not a lot of people out. The weather isn't crazy. I don't know. I really like that weather, but more so in the summer, like when it's warm and it's rainy and gloomy. Anyways, today feels like that and I'm really just loving it, which is so funny because I think it's a whole freaking contradiction to the past few weeks and the fact that I literally was so depressed because there's no sun. And I just think it's funny that when you come out of something like just being in a rut or depressed and you really kind of transform your habits and the way that you're thinking about life and everything, you can be in the same environment but experience it differently depending on where your mind is at and where your habits are at and how you're showing up for yourself. I think that's another thing. Is like lately I've been really showing up for myself and it's like I'm experiencing a new relationship to it being gloomy. So I don't know. I'm really loving that. And another thing before we get into the questions, okay. I was talking about this in my video about being depressed. And I was like considering like, do I release my, my lease is coming up in April. Do I move? Do I stay? I live right outside of downtown Toronto core. Like I'm still pretty close, but just like right outside. And I don't feel like I'm connected to the city and I want to move closer to the city. I don't want to live downtown in the core where it's like building after building. Like I need some space. I've been checking out a few places, but I was like, my lease is coming up in April. Like, do I just not even renew my lease and then just like go to Miami or like go somewhere for a while? Cause I can do that now that I'm, I work for myself. But I came to realize that I don't think that I'm ready yet. And I don't mean that in like, I'm not ready to live my life because I don't want to get in that energy, because I think that I can live my life and just do whatever and explore. And I should. I'm 27 and where I'm not tied down to anything, but I realize that I have a lot of things that I still want to do. And this is the first year, like I'm entering this year working for myself. I've only been not tied down to a job for only a few months. I left my serving job in November, I think, or something, or December. I don't even remember now. I feel like it's been so long. And like I'm in the process of writing a book right now. I I really want to create a space that is just so indicative to what I am trying to build as a brand. And I want to build a community of friends and just be connected. And I know that I can do that in the city. I can do that anywhere, but I can do that in the city as well. And I just feel like I'm not fully ready to just like go and travel and explore. And I want to kind of be a little bit more, I don't want to say done, because I'm always evolving and I'm always working on my brand. And I'm sure this time next year, there's going to be another evolution, another book, another something I'm working on. But I just feel like I'm not really there yet. And anyways, I decided I am going to look for places in the city and create a home and a sanctuary and explore the city and like build friendships and date and do what it is that I'm wanting to do. Like I said, this era of my life right now is very much so go and live your life, because I've been working, I've been self-improving, I've been doing so much. And I think that I'm ready to take that on, and I know that I can do that anywhere. And I think, you know what? I think it's because I have a lot of things going on, it just kind of makes more sense for me to just stay more like homebound, like just move like to Toronto, not move across, to America or somewhere for a while, because that obviously there's so much learning curve that comes with that, and just like being familiar with the area and whatever. So I think that's what I'm going to do. With that said, I have been considering, well, actually, even before I decided like I was really, really moving, I was like, I do want to do more like vlog style videos, like with a theme. I don't want to just like vlog just because. I think those are kind of out, although I know some people would be interested in that, like waking up and like showing you what I'm eating. I don't really care to do that unless it has something to do with the theme of that week. But I just think that there's going to be so much more content or so much living that I'm going to be doing that I think it'd be really fun for me to document it. Like, yeah, for sure you guys would be interested in it and it'd be cool, and like I have a following, so I'm sure people would be interested, but it's like I'm entering the era of living my life. Like that would be quite cool to vlog that, like vlog the process of me moving. Like I'm getting a place. I'm going to be looking for a place, a 2-bedroom condo, so that I can create a creator room. Like I'm creating a whole studio. Like the background in here, I mean, it's cute, but I want a whole room dedicated for the podcast, for my YouTube videos, like for creating just everything, a space dedicated for my brand. And I think that there's going to be so much that would come out of that, like finding my style. Like I've stopped furnishing this place. I really barely even furnish this place because I was getting my fucking ass up and working all summer, and I just like did not have time to really furnish things, and I was just like building my social media and everything. And then now when I've decided that I'm gonna move, I'm like, I'm not gonna buy anything new like until I move to a new place. So anyways, I think there's just so many things that I'm gonna be getting and furnishing and moving, and then also just the city life and going out and trying to find my way in life. I think that that'd be such a cool thing to like document and whatever. So I was thinking, I don't want, like, I know that some people just care about the podcast and self-improvement and my self-improvement videos and love that. Maybe you are not interested in my life or any of that. So I was thinking maybe I separate the vlog, like I have a vlog channel per se. I don't know. That's something I'm thinking of, just so I don't kind of like add a bunch of things. I don't know. Please let me know in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube what you think of that. I think it just might be a better idea, something that I'm thinking about. But we'll see. Regardless, I think that that's something that's going to be coming in the near future. But of course, still doing the podcast and still doing my sit down videos where I'm talking about a certain topic, because I love to talk. I love to analyze. I have very big perspectives of things that are going on within that I've had happen to myself, I've gone through, and I see in others. And I feel like the Glow Up Secrets, like my channel, that's somewhere where I can express all of that. And I don't really want to confuse everything with that. So we'll see. Okay, let's get into the questions. You guys asked amazing questions. Once again, the questions that you guys have asked are going to be questions that you can apply to yourself, even if you didn't ask it yourself. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, The Glow Up Secrets. because that's where I asked you guys like Q&A for any podcast episodes. And I'm going to start doing it on my community tab as well. But these are all from like holiday season where I was asking you guys a bunch of questions and I got so many that I was like, I need to split these up. So let's get into it. First question. How do I get more confidence with my body? And I think we can really just apply this to like your face, your whole, like your body image in general, like how you look, how you present, even maybe how you speak and who you are as a person. But mainly the physical. There's a few things that's really, I guess. I mean, I'm definitely a lot better than I was back in my early 20s. I really had a lot of body image issues, but I realized that the people that I was following on social media and the people that I was hanging around were just not healthy for my body image. Like following a bunch of fitness influencers back in the day was like a big thing for me. And even just like those Instagram baddies that had like the coolest outfits and stuff, but like you could really just like their body types were just really the thing that was the reason why we were all following. Like, wow, I wish I had that body. And I was on Tumblr a lot and that didn't help my self image at all. And like, you have to protect your peace, but like yourself in a way. Like social media and being around people who only care about their physical appearance, and you know those girls who mainly a lot of them are really just insecure. And I'm not saying that like a mean way, like whatever. Like just because you care about your appearance doesn't mean that you're insecure, by the way. I just mean like in my personal experience, the girls that I was around that really heavily cared about their makeup and their hair and their body, it was from a place of like very critical of themselves and others, and I have to be perfect or else I'm nothing type thing. Not girls who are just like, oh my gosh, I love to do my hair, my makeup, and my outfits and whatever, and like I love you and I uplift girls, like those type of girls. I'm not talking about those type of girls. I'm talking about the ones who are just like the focus is heavily on appearance, and when we go out, we only care about the hot guys. I don't know. Those are people that I personally think that you need to distance yourself from, because it just doesn't help when you're trying to heal your self-image issues. You're trying to care more about, your health and how you show up in life and your purpose and work and career and all of these things. Like, stop surrounding yourself around people who care heavily about how your body looks. I remember making this TikTok, and I know I've heard this somewhere else too, but it's like your body really needs to be one of the least interesting things about you, in my opinion. And this is not to say that you can't dress up and you can't put on your favorite shirt and do your hair and do your makeup and take hot ass photos of yourself. But it's like, let that be a byproduct of like you just being this amazing person from the inside, like a really strong, confident person. You're on purpose, you're working, you're creating, you're connecting with people, you're having like amazing friendships outside of how you guys look. You're just exploring life, whatever it is. Let that be a byproduct. Why does your body and your face and everything need to be the forefront of your life? Every day you wake up and you have to look pretty, or what am I going to wear today? And like, this is going to affect literally the way that I feel from like an insane level every single day. Like when it's taking over your life, you need to start focusing on other things outside of body image in general. Again, this is not to let yourself go. This is not to not care about yourself, but it's like, I don't know. I think the first step really is like, stop following so many people on social media where every single time you go on, you're realizing that you don't look like that person. And now you feel like you have to go to the gym and change your whole entire appearance. Stop being around people who only care about their looks from a very insecure place. Stop being around men who only talk about girls in a way that's kind of just like disrespectful and like, does she have a nice ass, or does she have a nice body, or like, what's her face look like? Like, I've been around guys who, and you can tell when guys really only care about looks, just the way that they, and even if it's in a nice way, right? But they're just constantly commenting on what a woman is looking like. I don't really like that, because it's like, why do you care so much about that? And again, listen, looks do matter. I'm not going to say they don't. I'm not going to say they don't when it comes to presenting yourself in even work environments, on social media, with men. But it's like, we need to stop putting that on such a huge pedestal. Another tip is like, honestly, follow people on social media, because you can't really get away from it unless you're not on social media, and like we all are, whatever. But what really helped me too when I was trying to really heal my self-image issues is following people who have the same body type as you or the same look as you. Like, I know sometimes the level of self-hate that we have towards ourselves and our bodies is so heavy that you can't even follow somebody who looks like you because you kind of are disgusted by that. And it's a thing. It seriously is a thing. But you don't have to, let's say you really don't like your body right now, okay? And you don't want to follow people who have the exact same body type as you, because that actually makes you feel worse about yourself, because maybe you're not there yet. Self-acceptance, there's like levels to healing. And I'm being very honest here right now. Follow people who have similar body types than you, where, yeah, maybe you do aspire to be like them, or like, oh, that'd be so amazing if like I had a body like them, but it's not far off to me. Like I could get there if I like worked on myself a little bit or whatever. And again, it's a hard thing to talk about, because it's like, I don't want to influence somebody to follow somebody and want to be like them. But the truth is, that's the level of human nature. Like human nature, we are people who care about our appearance and want to always up-level ourselves and want to change ourselves in many ways. But it's to really realize, like, you're allowed to change yourself. But it really kind of needs to come from a place of self-acceptance and love for your current self, and realize, like, I'm okay if I don't become this person, but wouldn't it be cool and nice to like have a body type that kind of looks like that, so then I can wear these jeans? Like, amazing. Maybe I'll work towards it. Maybe I won't. If I don't become that person though, I am still good where I'm at. What I used to be and who I used to be was, I need to become that girl and have that body. And if I do not, I am nothing. In fact, I am nothing right now until I become that. That is not a healthy relationship with yourself. And when you're in that mindset, nothing else matters other than changing the way that you look, and you're never accepting yourself. You need to learn how to accept yourself. And self-acceptance is not looking into the mirror and seeing everything about you and saying, fine, I accept it. I love myself. Self-acceptance is accepting the fact that maybe you're not where you want to be yet, and that's okay. But loving yourself anyways. Loving the fact that, you know what, I'm really accepting the fact that I'm who I am right now. This is how my body looks. And you know what, I'm still going to let myself go live life. I am not going to let that affect the way that I show up in relationships. And if I transform, which slowly we usually always do. The evolution of my glow up is real. That'll be great. It'll be a byproduct. But until then, I'm going to love me for me, but I'm still going to let myself work on myself. But I'm going to protect my peace, myself, by making sure that I'm not feeding myself with images that are just not healthy for myself. And you know when it is not healthy, because you'll start to feel like crap about yourself, and you'll be like, oh my God, I need to go to the gym. I need to I need to rebrand my whole life. Like, no. And this very rarely ever happens to me, but if that does happen to me and I'm scrolling on TikTok, I'm really not on that side of TikTok or Instagram, but if I see that, I'm like, I'm done watching this girl. She looks amazing. Her body's so amazing. Her hair, her makeup, her whatever, her life. But I need to stop watching this right now, because it's the thoughts that are coming into my head are not good thoughts, and I don't need that, and I don't deserve that. I'm allowed to be who I am right now and still live my life and feel happy about my life. Also, another thing that's really helped me with body image issues is to remind myself that there's always going to be somebody prettier than you. So just like, let's just get that over with and realize that there's always going to be somebody prettier than you. So stop trying to one up and be perfect and be constantly, there's always going to be somebody prettier than you. And you know what? There's always going to be somebody prettier than the girl that you think is prettier than you. So, and when let's say you are in situations where you're around a lot of very pretty people, right? And it is maybe affecting your self-worth a little bit, and maybe you're not where you want to be, and you haven't been working on yourself. Whoops. Remind yourself that these people that you are putting on a pedestal are also people, not just your body goals or your goals in general, and try to relate to them as human beings instead of focusing so heavily on the fact that they look like this and you look like this. That's really helped me. And I think the last thing is really the thing that's helped me even in this day and age right now, realizing that there are prettier people than me, and I see it in real life. And yes, I see guys who are really attractive. They pick her over me, whatever, even though I'm really not focusing on things like that. But, whatever. Is as long as I'm taking care of myself and I'm doing the best that I can and I'm presenting myself in the best light that I possibly can, then I can't be mad at myself when I go into a room and I see somebody who, maybe on a beauty scale is prettier than me, or people are picking her over me. You know why? Because this is what I can do. This is the best that I can do. I am the best version of myself in this moment right now. And what's helped me really feel like that, though, is taking care of myself, is learning how to do my makeup and my hair, and finding the outfits that really work for me and where I feel comfortable in. Because once you do that, it's like, take me as I am or watch me as I go. And even when it comes to nothing physical, I am so solid in my personality and the things that I've achieved in my life. Although just because you achieve things doesn't mean that whatever. The things that I work on, the purpose that I'm on, the person that I am, and like just who I am on the inside, that really does hold me when I am, feeling a little bit low when it comes to self-image, or, like in a room of people. And again, this is not to look at other people and be like, well, I'm a better person, or, I have better hair or better. No. It's just to really like stabilize yourself and be like, I'm that girl. We are all that girl in our own ways. So just focus on your own lane. Focus on becoming the best version of you. That's what I always say in my intros, like becoming the best version of yourself. You're not trying to become the best version of someone else. You're becoming the best version of yourself. Next question. That was such a long-winded question. Okay. Next question. How to sustain self-love habits. And this is what I wrote on here. Nothing is linear, and you don't need to be consistent 100,000% of the time. This always comes back to me in my personal story, but I always talk about this, and it's just being like, you don't need to be perfect doing everything. You don't need to be consistently linear every second of the day doing these self-love habits. And honestly, you need to learn what works for you. What habits are for you? Because what I've struggled with in my process of glowing up is trying to do all of these self-care and self-love practices from being influenced by other people doing it on YouTube, TikTok, social media, just in general. And we're constantly bombarded, especially I feel like us as women, we love trends, we love new things, we love journals, we love practices, we love healing, we love evolving, we love learning, we love so many things. We go through a million eras every freaking month. It's insane. And with that, though, comes a lot of influence on, okay, gotta do this new routine, and she's doing that for her self-routine. I need to do that, and self-care, and da-da-da. You need to become very aware of what it is that you truly need for yourself when it comes to self-love habits, and do those things. This is not to say that you can't incorporate a new habit here and there, but take your time with something, but also do the things that are for you. Like maybe you don't need to be doing shadow work the way that I'm saying that I do shadow work right now. Or you see your favorite YouTuber and she's talking about this new inner child work she's doing with her therapist, or just like on her own. Like you don't have to do that just because you're hearing just how amazing it's transformed her life. If the things that you're doing right now are working for you, then keep doing those things. Maybe until they don't. But it's like sometimes we just get so bombarded with so many things that it's just like, oh, okay, I need to do this and that. And then it's really hard to keep up because there's so many things to do. You're telling yourself to do a million journal prompts in the morning, and it's like, I can't get to them all. And then you feel like crap about yourself when you don't get them all done. So do what it is that is for you and what's working. You don't need to change everything up a million times. And also, like, it's okay if you don't do your journal practice every single morning. I don't do that every single morning. It's okay to go through different phases. You, as a human being, you are very fluid in a lot of things. And you need certain practices and certain routines and things depending on the time of the month, depending on your current environment in which you're living in, depending on your relationship status, your friendship status, if you went out last night or if you didn't. Like, so many things factor into what you need to give yourself. So you to put this pressure on yourself, like you need to be linear and consistent, is, I don't know, that is something that like we need to leave in like 2020 at this point. Sorry guys, I needed to take a quick break. Well, I guess if you're listening to the podcast on Spotify or Apple, you wouldn't really be able to tell, but on YouTube, I had to take a break. I'm just saying, if I look like I changed anything. Anyways, because I talk for so long sometimes that I need to seriously take a break. It's interesting. Anyways, all right, next question. How do you find your purpose? Now, this is a very deep question, and this is definitely going to be from my own opinion and my own experience. And it's interesting because last week in my women's circle, we were talking about finding your purpose, like how to find your purpose, like connecting deeper to your spirituality, all that good stuff. And this is what I believe. You get born into this life with a certain set of cards, per se. Those cards being your environment, your parents, where like literally where you live, society in general, the era that you were born in, all of these things. And all of these things, they influence and raise you in a way. The parents that raise you, depending on what they believe and how they treat you, they're going to affect the way that you show up in life and what you believe about yourself, what you believe about money, relationships, whatever, right? We all go through different traumas. We go through different things in our life. We all go through a lot of things. And these things create a lot of walls, blocks, coping mechanisms, things that maybe are not actually helpful to us as human beings anymore, but it did in the past. They protected us, they allowed us to live life and whatever. But the problem sometimes with that is these blocks and these walls and these coping mechanisms and these masks that we put on as we grow up because of society and everything else that put all these pressures onto ourselves, and they dictate how we what we like in life or where we go and what direction. We create this space between our true authentic self and who we are right now. And I find a lot of the times when we are saying like, I don't know what my purpose is, I don't know what to do in my life, I don't know X, Y, and Z, it's because we are so far from who we truly are at a core, what we really like, what we really are interested in, what we don't like, who we are as a person. And now you can think about it like this, like usually in childhood, we're interested in something, whether that be dance or like gymnastics or singing or doing something, right? And as you grow up, maybe you are not so secure in your body anymore or confident within yourself because you go to school and you get socialized, and all of these things create these insecurities within you. So you no longer dance or you no longer sing, or one person made fun of you one time and now you're scarred for life. And now you become somebody who is trying to protect yourself by not letting that part of you out. But that part of you is a part of your authentic self, who you truly are, because that is something that you really loved to do when you were younger. Like you did that naturally before people told you not to do it. And I think the process of life really in general is to slowly come back to yourself, to learn who you truly are, and to learn how to be your authentic self in relationships, in friendships, and creating a life where you can be authentically you. Now, it's hard because there's literally systems put in place in life that make it very hard for you to express who you naturally are. There's systems put in place that affect the way as women that we can even show up and honor our true natural cycles. This is something natural and biological to ourselves. Birth control, having no time off, having to work a standard 9 to 5 and kind of work off of a circadian rhythm, a rhythm really that is more based or really favors the male body. And we don't really have much option, right? But I think that there's so many small ways that you can start to learn how to become authentically you. And I think that, in my opinion, what I'm learning is the purpose of life, or your specific, there's like the purpose of life is just kind of like, take off all these layers that you've been building up and healing and constantly re-evolving and becoming you, who you truly are and what you're meant to do on this earth. And I think part of you really becoming your authentic self, that is what your purpose is going to be. So let's say, for instance, I really loved to express myself with dance and music and movement when I was younger, and society, made it so that I couldn't, or parents didn't have money, so I couldn't go to dance. I couldn't express myself. I couldn't really be who I wanted to be. And I've gone through my life building up these walls, and I went into different industries. I didn't follow what I really wanted to because I couldn't, because I didn't have money to. I really wanted to be a dancer, but I needed to pay my bills, all of these things. I think that if you can look at life like that and realize, okay, life is about kind of uncovering who I truly am before all of this societal programming. Once you take off these layers and start to dance again, or start to express yourself in a new way, or find ways in which you can express yourself, maybe that isn't actually dance, maybe it's a different form of something, but it's truly like you really love that, then it's like, okay, well, what do I do in terms, because some people will think that your purpose has to do with like making money and stuff, but I mean, it absolutely doesn't have to be. But I think once you really become authentically you, well, maybe your purpose in life now is to be a dance teacher, or to teach people how to follow what they truly are wanting to do in life. And like, that's going to be your specific purpose here on earth, is to wake people up and make them realize, like, you need to follow what you weren't following back in childhood. And to bring it back to the question of, like, how do I find my purpose? I think it first starts with you going on this healing journey and trying to journey back to yourself, who you were before all of these systems were put in place and put on you, and these expectations, because I really think only then will you really start to see what I'm here to do. What is it that I'm here to do? It's really hard to have such a big idea and think about and like come up with this answer when you don't even know yourself. And I think a good indicator, like when you're talking about, when you're asking yourself the question of what is my purpose, that is a good indicator that most likely you have not been your authentic self. You don't know who you are. You're not following your desires. You're not following what you really love to do. And now that could be a whole life. That's a whole journey. That's a life journey. I personally think that's kind of what we are meant to do here. And like in a meta analysis, I guess, this is my belief, and people believe in God. People believe in, you have different religions, different whatever. I'm very more on the spiritual side, as you can see. I really believe that life is all about healing and evolving and transforming, because I think that the universe is constantly learning about itself through us. And because people ask, like, why does this bad thing have to happen to me? Why are bad things happening? Well, when something that you don't desire happens in your life, you learn, if you are willing to, you learn how to heal from that thing. And usually when you heal from that thing, you evolve and you contribute to society, and you go more in alignment of what you're really here to help people do and connect people, whatever it is, the smallest thing, the dance, being a dance teacher, doing what I'm doing, you're waking up society, you're helping people connect. You're really just an expression of the universe getting to know itself. And I think that that is something that I always think of when it comes to hard things in my life. And when I'm feeling lost in my life, that is a very good indicator that I am probably not doing things that are aligned with my true authentic self. And to learn more about myself and who I really am, what I like, what I don't like, what I'm doing that I know that I don't want to be doing, the things that I'm telling myself that I need to do based off of what society is telling me to do. Does that feel good? Yes or no? And becoming more aware of that state will help you then go in the direction of, you know what? I don't like doing gymnastics, but I really like doing dance. I'm going to find a way that I'm going to slowly incorporate more dance into my life. I don't know where that's going to take me. I don't know what that even means. I don't even know if that's going to be like my job or my career. All I know is that's what makes me feel good. My soul comes alive when I dance. My soul comes alive when I'm listening to music, or I'm creating music, or I'm writing, or I'm connecting, or I'm speaking. You have to find what really feels good. We have this like emotional guidance system. We have this part of us that has been so disconnected. We have been so disconnected from based off of so many things. And I think that life in general is the process of uncovering who we truly are. And again, you don't need to know what your purpose here on life is right now. That's not how it works. And only until you start to go in the direction of what feels good, what you truly desire, without letting all of these systems tell you that you can't do it, tell you that you're not enough, tell you that no, this is not how you do it, and this is how I did it, so you have to do it like me. If that doesn't feel good to you, if you're feeling stuck in ruts and you're sabotaging and you're procrastinating on certain things, it's a very good indicator that that thing is not for you. Now, I understand that there's systems in place. I hear this all the time, constantly from people in my real life, on social media. Really and truly I try not to surround myself with people who are constantly talking about how they're basically a victim, because, and this is, I'm being quite like, blunt about this, but I have been dealt cards in my life that could have broken me, that could have gotten me so far to my true authentic self where I didn't know how to come back. And I decided that I was not going to let these cards be my cards for the rest of my life, and to navigate them and to trade them and to up level them. Because what some of us think is we get these cards, parents, environment, money, just wherever we've grown up, and we think we have to, that's it. They're fixed. You can't change them. You can't trade them. I am not here to not do that, because I believe that the universe is constantly wanting to evolve and expand and grow, and the universe is learning what it likes and doesn't like through us, which means there has to be a way that I can transform and grow and up level and change these cards. That's at least my belief. And I'm going to find a way to change the card that I don't want. Does that mean that I can erase the fact that I had these set of parents? No. But it's to first, okay, let me heal from the things that are creating my trauma responses now in adult life, which is making me go further away from who I really am. And then to come to peace with this card that I was dealt and realize that this card, it was actually a part of my evolution. And if I didn't have this card, I wouldn't know who I truly am. I wouldn't learn what I really like and what I don't like. You always learn what you don't like from getting what you don't like in your life. And that's fine. When people are like, I just like wish that like I would never went through heartbreak. I never went through this, that, and the third. Well, how are you going to learn what it is that you really need and want out of a relationship, need and want out of life, if everything was just handed to you and just everything was just amazing and just euphoric? That's not, in my opinion, how life works. But you don't also have to be a victim to these things. You're allowed to give yourself the power and say, you know what? I'm going to change this, up level, trade this card in. And that's what I've done in my life. And the more times that I do that, the more I become, I deepen my connection to myself, and I'm very aware of what feels good to me and what doesn't. And I have more confidence to go in the direction of what makes me feel good. So maybe for you, that's going in the direction more of dancing and saying, you know what? I don't care what cards you gave me. I'm going to find a way for me to go express myself through dance. Or, you know what? I wasn't given all of this money to be able to go to school and to create whatever it is that I thought that I was going to create in my life. I'm going to find a new way to do things and express myself. And what I'm doing is I've created my own show. I've created my own platform because I've seen other people do it. And I realize I'm going to do the same thing. I want to do this. And I'm speaking from a place of going through, I think my purpose really is like going through all the hard things that I have and coming to these realizations to help you guys do that. And maybe that's not your purpose. Maybe your purpose on earth is not to go through hard things and then teach people how to get through those hard things. That's not always going to be it. But you have to uncover who you truly are outside of even helping people, right? Outside of working. And that's going to take life. That's going to take things coming into your life and not working out or whatever. And I'm still on this journey as well. All I know is right now in my life, yes, part of my purpose, I think, on earth is kind of like awakening people to see and to see what I see, but also to really heal themselves and realize like you can do this. You can create the life that you want. You can glow up into the best version of yourself. You can do all this stuff. But my personal journey as well is I need to really become who it is that I was before all this conditioning, even before all this self-help stuff. And like I was saying in the beginning of this episode, like I know that I need to live my life more. I know that being isolated and constantly working on myself and being perfectionist and whatever, it has helped me in so many ways, but I know that that's not my entire purpose here on earth. And I want to express myself. And I know that the relationships that I've been in and the friendships that I've had, I can see because I'm very self-aware that I haven't been authentically me because I've been trained and I've had these coping mechanisms put on my own self and these masks put on to think that I needed to be a certain way to show up in relationships. And really and truly, you didn't come into this world to just put a mask on. And so that you can have a relationship, so that you can have a job and whatever. You can have the life that you want, but it's going to require you to think a new way about life in a universe and your power in general. Because if you think that you got these cards and you're just dealt with them and you have to deal with them and there's not much you can do about it, then that is going to be your reality. If you believe that you've gotten cards that are dealt to you, that you can get through these cards when they come up, like the hard things that do come, and there's good ones too. And you're allowed and you can change, upgrade, trade in the card if you want to, and that you are not a victim. Watch your life change. Truly watch your life change. When I came to those realizations, when I was like, honestly, the first kind of like awakening that happened for me, honestly, is like around when my dad passed away. But when I came to those realizations, the game changed. But the game didn't change to the point where I woke up one day and I saw this, like I realized that this was a thing. And then I am where I am right now today. It took so much healing, so many things I didn't want to happen, so many things that I thought that I wanted to happen, but were really just society projecting on me. And the more that I strengthen the relationship that I have to myself, and instead like not let everyone else tell me how I should be and how I should feel and how I should act, the better I got with getting in alignment and finding my purpose and realizing and having the confidence within myself to be able to do what I'm doing right now and talking. Like I know that I should be here right now recording this episode. I know that to be true. Some people try and do this and they don't really know if this is what they are. They don't know. They have no idea because they don't know themselves. And that's okay if you don't, but it's all a journey and it's all a process. That was a very long-winded answer. I hope that somehow helped. But again, in order for you to kind of know the answer of like, what is my purpose? You need to go on a process of learning who you are and expressing yourself authentically, which can take a long time. And that's fine. You don't need to know your life purpose. Everything I believe that's happened in my life contributes to who I am today. If I didn't go through what I went through with my mom and my father's passing, all the relationships that didn't work out, I wouldn't have had the wisdom to be able to share with you guys to help you on your level up journey. Next question. I've been immensely low on energy and disconnected with my greater purpose. Why is it so hard? So I think this kind of goes, or I guess follows the last thing that I was talking about when it comes to finding your purpose and stuff. Like, I truly think that like when you are really confused in life with your direction and what you want to do, it's probably because you're not really truly connected to who you are authentically, what you really love to do. You're probably playing small. You probably have been told all your life that you need to do it like this. You've been influenced by people who are literally like, that's not your niche. That's not your people. That's not your community. You know, you're very lost, and that's okay to be lost, because once you're lost, you will find yourself. But I think that the best thing that you can do is to stop putting this having to know energy on something so big as life, like as your life journey. Like, I feel so connected to my greater purpose. Okay. That it's not bad to want to know what your greater purpose is, but like I said, it is a huge process. I don't know my greater purpose. I'm still in the midst of it. But it's like to go in the direction of what feels good to you, what you're interested in that time in your life. You will start to open up doors. Things will happen in your life which will bring you closer and closer and closer to your purpose. There's going to be many evolutions of you in life. You're probably going to have many purposes. I might have a purpose of being an author for a certain period of my lifetime on this earth, and then that's that. But that might not be my only purpose in life or my greatest purpose in life. Same thing with YouTube. Maybe I'll be a YouTuber for forever. Maybe I won't. Who knows? But I think that the best way to get yourself out of this when you're really, really confused is, like I've been saying, do something that really lights you up, honestly. What is it that you love to do? And I know you're probably going to be like, no, I can't do that because this and that and this system and that. I don't have enough money for da 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 da. Find a way. And I'm saying find a way because I found a way. When there was not many ways, I found a way to slowly be able to express my authentic self, or go in the direction of somehow finding what it is that I really, really like to do and doing it. Find a way. Do something that lights you up, because when you do something that lights you up, it's an energy. Like, thinking about when you listen to your favorite song and that lights you up and you start dancing, and just dancing because you love to dance. The energy state and the mindset that you are now in after that will affect the way that you show up in your life, affect the decisions that you make, affect the way that you call your friend or not call your friend. And when you call your friend, that friend might have something that's going to turn on a light bulb in your head, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, let's do this. Which that thing might lead you to that person, which will connect you to this person. And then do you see how these things are all connected? But it's like, if you are shut off and turned off, like, no wonder you can't find your purpose. So do something that lights you up today and just be open to life. Don't put so much pressure on yourself when it comes to finding your greater purpose. You will find it. It'll probably be a million things, and that's okay if you literally have no idea what you want to do. Just do what you can. Oh my gosh, guys, this freaking podcast episode is going to be so long. Okay. How do you truly become content in your own company? Okay, I was really thinking about this, and I was thinking about one of my old friends that I'm no longer friends with anymore. And like, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but like, I've never really had this issue because I've always been somebody that never runs away from their problems or like runs away from themselves. I'm very self-aware, but I'm also like, I'd rather deal with what's going on, what I'm feeling, versus like run away. And I find this one friend that I had, and I've seen this in other people as well, is like they struggle with like being okay in their own company and enjoying their own company because they don't really like themselves, or they're running away from something, and they really struggle with literally being alone. Because it's really hard for them to be alone because being alone means facing all the things you've been running away from, or all the things that you don't like about yourself, or all the ways in which that you might need to actually start getting your life together, etc., etc. I'm not saying that that is you, but I find that for me, I've never really struggled with being in my own company and spending time alone and enjoying that, if anything, because I'm not running away from myself, and I know how to handle myself. I know how to be there with myself when I am struggling with things that I would rather run away from. So I was just thinking, like, I could give you tips on, do self-care practices and do fun, like watch your favorite show, or like do whatever, all of these things that you would think would make you enjoy your company more. But really and truly, stop running away from yourself. Become your own best friend. Learn how to have a relationship with yourself is going to be the first thing. Because once you do that, then you won't not enjoy being around yourself. It's like, why don't you enjoy being with yourself alone? Your own company alone? Well, again, maybe you're in self-hate right now. Like maybe or you don't accept yourself, or you're running away from things and you cannot be alone, or you don't enjoy being in your own space, in your own company, because it's like, this is not a really good state to be in. I think honestly, the most important relationship that you're going to have in this life is the one with yourself. And you need to learn how to have that with yourself. You need to stop running away from yourself. You need to sit with yourself, your emotions, the things that you're suppressing on a daily basis. Stop hating yourself so much. Love yourself. Spend time doing things that you like to do. But one thing I do want to say about being content in your own company, this is definitely something where you could swing to the other side and just become, you could kind of go a little bit insane here. Like, this is what I mean. I am somebody who has always been content in her own company, although sometimes it might be uncomfortable, right? Because I'm going through something and I'm crying and I'm trying to heal and I'm working through something and oh my gosh, whatever. But I like to I'm like that golden child that just like will deal with her emotions on her own and whatever. And like, I don't need to run away from myself, and I don't like to run away from myself because then I get anxiety because I know that I'm running away from myself. But sometimes it's okay to not like be okay in your own company, like go live your life type thing. Like sometimes I will get in these mindsets of I'm constantly thinking about everything that's going on in my life, and I'm like really connected to myself, where I need to disconnect and go out and like go live my life and not be so much in my company, because I'm kind of driving myself insane. I'm starting to get annoyed by myself because the constant thoughts that I'm having, or, the projects that I'm working on, it's just the same things over and over and over and over again that are running through my head. And like, some of those things are not needed to necessarily like heal or work on. These are just things that you just kind of need to disconnect from. So that's another thing. You don't need to be 100% always loving your own company. Sometimes your company is a little bit freaking annoying. Like, especially for myself, I talk a lot. And sometimes I'm like, just shut up, girl. Just shut up. Go live your life. Go listen to someone else for once. Okay. Next question. What's your favorite piece of advice you've ever gotten? There's so many good pieces of advice that I've gotten. Okay. Also, I did adjust the camera, so sorry if it's like a little bit weird. One of the best pieces of advice that always just stick with me, and it's from my mom, is too much of anything is not healthy or good for you. And she used to always say that when I was like in my era of clean girl eating, like really, really bad, unhealthy relationship with food. So super bad. If you're interested in my whole journey with that and how I healed my relationship with food, I do have a video on my YouTube channel and I will link it in the description. But I didn't I was like, how is eating salads and eating healthy, like, how could that be too much? But the truth is, anything can be too much, even if it's healthy that you think. Because if you think about it, if you're only eating healthy, and when I mean healthy, like you're eating salads all the time, there's going to be certain nutrients, macronutrients that you're going to be missing out on, like carbs, because there's not that many carbs in salads. Or you're only going to be feeding yourself certain vitamins from those specific vegetables in the salad, and maybe you're not even having protein. So if you continue to eat a salad for the rest of your life, yes, salads are healthy, but no, it's not going to be healthy for you if you consistently eat that and only that. Same thing when it comes to relationships, right? Honestly, and I know people don't really want to hear this, but you things can't always be 100% amazing and good. I honestly like when there's a little bit of contrast in relationships. Maybe you disagree on something. Maybe something, I'm not saying like fighting and being toxic, but you need to disagree on things. You need to have some ebbs and flows in your relationship because you learn about that person and you get through things and you learn, is this person for me or not? When hard things come up in this relationship, can we communicate? Can we get through this? Are we the people that we should be? Like, are each other's person? And if things were only ever going 100% perfect, amazing, it would just be boring. It would just, like, I don't even know. Like, that's not even a relationship, really. And I think a meta analysis or a meta thought of this whole thing and what I've been talking about in this episode is, if you go through hard things in your life, you learn what you don't like and you learn how to do things differently and you evolve and you grow. Growth comes from those hard times in your life. And if everything was amazing and good and you came from an amazing family and you had all the money in the world and you had all these things, then what are you here to do? What's your purpose in life? You can do anything you want. So what? Like, you know what I mean? So I think that is a very good piece of advice to remind yourself when you are going through things that are hard. All right, last question. Healing yourself while being in a relationship. Is it possible? Yes, I think it's absolutely possible. I think that you heal a lot more than you think in relation to people. And this can be friendships, but also even in an intimate romantic relationship. Now, one thing that I'll say about this is not everyone is going to be able and suited to be able to hold space for you and help you heal or just be healing for you in that relationship. Not everyone's going to be like that. But I think that there's a lot of healing that does come out of being in relationships, and you want to know why? A lot of the issues that we have in society is relational. Everything is a relationship, really. A relationship that you have to yourself, relationship you have to food, relationship that you have to people, men, women, whatever. Everything is relational. And we have a lot of relational traumas. That is a lot of where our traumas come from, is relational. Back in the day, back in childhood. And so how do you learn to have a healthier relationship? How do you learn to have the relationship that you never had? Well, you learn through relationships. You learn how to have a relationship through being in a relationship. You don't learn how to have a relationship through a textbook. You can learn a few things, but at the end of the day, you got to go out there and you got to date and you got to be in relationships and you got to make mistakes and you have to learn how to communicate. So yes, I absolutely think that you can heal a lot in relationships, but again, it takes a person that is able to aid you, help you, heal with you, be there for you, even if they're not healing you in particular. It's just like to create that space with you. And one thing that I will say, if you find that you have, you come from a lot of relational traumas, like all of us, emotional neglect, abandonment, all that good stuff, one thing that's very important is to have conversations with the person that you're in a relationship with about the fact that you are in this certain state. Maybe you have certain attachment styles, certain ways of thinking and being, and self-confidence issues, whatever. I think it's so important and healthy for you to communicate with these things with your partner. And it's not from a place of, I have this attachment style, so you're going to have to deal with it. No, you need to take control and accountability for your own things that you're going to bring into this relationship. You're going to communicate and tell them, yes, this is what I'm dealing with, but I'm working on it. And I just want you to know. And hopefully you can be that person that's going to help me as well. And hopefully I can be that person for you as well, because I can guarantee you, if you have relational dynamics that were kind of whack from childhood, you can bet your ass you're attracting somebody who has some form of that as well. We are flawed human beings. It is totally fine. But I think a lot of communication and a lot of self-awareness of where you currently are and accountability is going to be perfect for your life, for your healing journey. And we don't need to be telling ourselves that we just can't have relationships because I'm not healed. Everyone has traumas. Everyone has things that they have to work through, and that's just life. So I think that's going to be it for this episode. Please let me know how you liked watching and hearing me if you're watching on YouTube. Again, these episodes are going to be very conducive and very aligned with my YouTube videos that I'm already going to be posting. So it's not going to be, I don't really think it's going to be that big of a drastic change on the channel. Like really, you're just seeing me, but we're going to be talking about a lot of things that you guys want answers to. And I feel like I have the answers. Mainly just advice, you guys know. So yeah, without further ado, thank you so much for watching, for listening, wherever you are. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, The Glow Up Secrets, TikTok. Guys, I'm in my absolute flop era when it comes to TikTok. I have been off that app for like 2 months, and then I've been like posting here and there. It's not good. I don't know. I need to get back on there, but I'm really having a great time over here on the podcast and YouTube, but we'll see. All right. Love you guys so much, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.